There is tension in the Ghanaian space as names keep dropping about the players who have been reportedly dropped from the final 26-man squad of the Black Stars ahead of the 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar. A member of the Jeffrey Schloss management team went to Snapchat to rant about their disappointment when their player was told that he wouldn't be making the cut to Qatar 2022. We'll be talking about the other African countries as Sadio Mane is going to miss the World Cup after getting an injury in Bayern's game against Werder Bremen. Expectations of the Black Stars at this particular moment is also key and will be dominating our discussion on this episode of the GhanaWeb Mundial. My name is Joel Leshen, and today we will be talking about the list of players that we've heard are going to Qatar and then have been dropped from the squad. Then we talk about our expectations. Should Ghanaians be expectant of what the Black Stars will do? Because according to the budget read by the Ministry of Youth and Sports, we are going to be in the semi-finals. Can it be a reality, or is just on the paper and then we can show working for it? This is GhanaWeb Mundial. I'll go for a quick break. When we come back, we continue the discussion. Welcome back from the break. This is GhanaWeb Mundial. Today we are looking at expectations of Ghanaians ahead of the 2022 FIFA World Cup, and my guest will be doing this analysis but comparing the teams, Portugal, Uruguay, and then South Korea. Don't forget that Son Heung-min has sent a message to all Koreans that he will be fit for the World Cup. So if you're a Ghanaian and you are thinking that our second game against Korea is going to be an easy one for us, the bad news is Son Heung-min will be joining his team for the Qatar World Cup. Joining me to do the discussion is my colleague from the GhanaWeb Sports Desk, Emmanuel Eninima. Good morning and thanks for joining me here.
Good morning, bro.
Are you feeling good?
I'm good by economy in Charlie. 0109.
Oh, buffer.
Yeah, Charlie. The space really make hot. Yeah, but still, we will talk about Black Stars.
Then definitely the Black Stars can make the environment cooler, at least for 1 month in Qatar.
At least if they impress, if they are able to achieve the aim of reaching the semi-finals, I think, yes, people might forget about their hardship and everything for a short period, but after January, it will come.
And then my other guest is Ambassador Romeo. Yes, ambassador of all the industries in Ghana. Romeo, good morning.
Good morning, Joe. Thanks for having me.
Right now, when you wake up and then you think about the World Cup and all that is going on, what comes to mind?
I think it's sort of a try and error approach without any technically backed desire to win or to make a name as we did in our maiden appearance. But this, I think we've not learned, we've not developed, we've not grown. We've not impressed as the Brazilians of Africa. Just as Rujamila said some years back, we are blessed with myriads of talents, but when it has to do with selection, the biases diminishes the real potentials within our space, where we could easily have surprised the world stage in terms of football. But then again, it goes back to all the isms, the nepotisms, the favoritism, the biasisms, you just name it. So it's one of those things that is militating against we achieving that success story of our football history. So anyway, it's not surprising, but sometimes when I reflect further, I remember the story of Aminu Dramani. You know, people bashed him for being included in the squad, but he became the cornerstone.
One of the heroes.
Exactly. But then again, you don't gamble always in such circumstances. You put your best foot forward and expect the best to happen. If from the beginning, you know, Coach Otuado was like, you're going to consider players who are active in terms of playing and consider their current form. And if you consider all these things and you measure the squad released or the anticipated release squad, then you realize that it's not really about what he said. It's about some people playing chess with our minds in this country, and no coach has ever had his mind. Like CK said not too long ago, there are people who make inputs and impose players on you.
Yeah, but for CK, my issue, because for me, I think that any human being who comes out of a system before he or she will come and complain, I don't trust such people.
Yeah,
I'm saying this because when CK was the Black Stars head coach, I think you know, most of his call-up, they were organizing press conference and he would come. I remember this your friend Esther Angel.
Yeah.
Abankwa.
Yeah, Esther Abankwa. Esther asked CK, I think on 2 occasions, that we've heard that these players were not your handiwork. If you know that is the truth, and then you are responding to such questions, you know how to go about it. But at that particular moment, CK was angry that the lady is trying to say that, in quotes, he doesn't have boss, he's not a man, and then
obviously he was the manager at that time.
Yeah, so
and for managers, when you are in a certain position, you try to be a PR. If you are a manager, and let's say for somebody like Benjamin Mendy's rape case, and Pep Guardiola is being asked about it, you know, he wouldn't go straight and give you all the facts, you know. He would do some cover-ups and do some damage control, some cosmetic.
No,
for me, I feel like he was the manager at that time. So if you ask him that question, obviously he will defend the FA and defend himself as well. So I don't really have.
Yeah, but I'm saying that. So if you've defended it, you don't come and tell us.
Right now, he's not under the
FA. We knew already.
Right now, he's not being employed by the FA.
Okay, so so it means that when
managerial ethics suggests that, for instance,
when you are in the system,
for instance, you're on the sports desk of GhanaWeb.
Yeah.
If there is any negative impression out there about GhanaWeb, your expressions will be different from if you're no longer here.
Yeah.
You would have to protect your brand.
There
is this contractual agreement.
You have a contract.
You're signed on. There's sort of an iota of protection for oath of secrecy.
Yeah.
So there are things you can't come out.
Yeah.
For instance, a coach who is not being supported to sign players cannot come out and say, I'm not
but
unless or otherwise the person is ready to walk out.
Yeah, but I'm saying that I understand that in certain situations there is a non-disclosure agreement that you sign. But I want you can decide not to comment. And you see,
are you focusing on his reaction?
No, I'm saying that it's time that we tell people that they should stick to their integrity, because at the end of the day, whatever happened, CK, you've been fired for not getting the results.
Okay.
So if you think that when you are in the system and then the system is not allowing you to work, you walk out.
See, the issue is that the integrity crisis we all suffer as Africans is such that the opportunities are limited. Yeah. So people also try to protect their small areas or corners where their daily bread emanates. So it has to do with the fact that even the integrity measure should start from where you're signing your contract.
Yeah.
That these are my principles.
Yeah.
I would only consider about 2 or 3 players suggested to me by the FA, because I can't do it alone. Yeah. But I would not want to be influenced technically on a player selection. Yeah. If you agree with that, if you believe in your professionalism, that you believe in your prowess as a head coach, that you can deliver, you put your templates and standards across. And then if they are willing, you sign. Now, if all these things come out for people to hear of, you're going to receive full backing, full national backing. So anytime there's going to be sort of an imposition, you show a little signal, people will go like, okay, this man doesn't want this. So even if the current administration do away with you, next one, who really would want results and a disciplined person will have to call on you. Yeah. So that is the bane of our main problem. We don't have integrity because we need. It's a general thing.
The point.
So CK was just trying to, and he was also leveraging on the position to develop his CV.
Yeah, but
so he needed to buy time And then with time,
yeah, but I'm saying that CK is not just like the other local coaches who are here that we are saying that it's just money. Like you've played football at the highest level, a German trained coach, and then we've been complaining about system. So if a rich CK in quotes couldn't stand to his principles, because at the end of the day, I think that a coach who walk out because of interference and a coach who keeps quiet for interference to continue and then he gets being sacked, between the two, which one gives you a better CV?
you see, the issue of CK...
For me, I think, yes, it's about integrity, just as Ambassador was talking about. So I think, yes, if you walk out because they are interfering in your job, that is where your integrity, I mean, people will appreciate your integrity. I mean, people will give you much respect. But if you stay and then people interfere your job and then you come out to talk like this, I mean, people will complain, you know. Yeah, so for me, I think CK was there and the opportunities were limited. So he just had to do some cosmetics and then, I mean, keep the job. So I don't have too much of a problem with him.
You see, the issue of CK being rich.
Okay, let me take your last on this. And
on this score, CK being rich is not the issue. There are coaches on the local front when they are in the Black Star seats. It happens that okay, they make some monies from players before fielding them. But CK's situation wasn't such. It's such that the GFA imposes players on you because someone is running an agency where they would have to promote their players through national team appearances to be able to raise their cost of sale.
Yeah.
So that's where the issue comes in. And then, okay, the GFA boss is the one with the players. And then he asks that, okay, call these 2-3 players. I want you to call this player at least. He needs some appearance to shoot him up. Yeah. And then you go like, I won't. It's not. It has nothing to do with being rich or being poor.
I understand.
Like you said, he could have just stepped aside to say, okay, I don't like this interference.
Yes, that's my point. You walk out, you walk out, and then at the end of the day, the GFA, if they decide to sack you, because it is not only that press conference. There were a lot of instances that CK came out to deny that anybody was interfering.
But you know, we always appreciate the foreign coaches when they come. We tell you, oh, they are men of their own. They have that capacity to work out if you're imposing things on them. But they also go through the same thing.
Yeah, but
so it tells you that there's a system at the FA, which is making it difficult for all the coaches.
But I'm saying that we are yet to get any foreign coach who will come out and say that they were interfering in his job.
No, but I think we've had wins of some, but because they don't live here with us, so it doesn't resonate often. Yeah, but there are issues that even Claude some time ago made such statement. I don't know if you remember, and I think was it the guy who took us to the World Cup,
Djokovic.
I think at a point he was also saddled with such challenges, and he felt suffocated with such impositions. So, yes, he didn't come up, but CK's own has been panned in because he's a local coach and he's a legend, and people would have to delve into what he says to analyze. That's why we are discussing this.
Yeah. All right, so you had Romeo and then Ima on CK Alconor's situation about interference and then the possible ones we are hearing about the World Cup squad. But I always say that if you are a coach, at the end of the day, the bus stops with you. If they are bringing players and then you keep quiet and they interfere and you don't get the results, at the end of the day, you'll be fired. Because if Ghanaians start giving the FA pressure, the coach is always the first to go. So if you sit down and then you allow them to do, at the end of the day, you lose your job. But let's go straight into the squad. We've heard a lot. Now let me start with you, Ima. The players we've heard at least, even before the official announcement from people around them who have confirmed that they are not going to Qatar. The first one is Joseph Pinto and then Schlupp. Yeah. We've had Michael Essien in the Premier League, but he's the most Ghanaians with the highest appearance in the English Premier League. It tells you of his quality.
Yeah.
We've also heard that Majid Ashmeru won't be going. We've heard that Noordin Abdul Manaf and then Danlad Ibrahim, because the reports as it stands is that they've decided to go with Atizigi, Jojo Walcott, and then Richard Ofori. And the last one is Afenejan.
Afenejan,
Yeah.
okay. Let me start with Afenejan.
Yeah.
Afenejan is 19 years.
Yeah.
So the first thing is he has lots of years ahead of him. This is not going to be Ghana's last World Cup.
He'll be 24 the next World Cup.
By that time, maybe he will be matured enough. Yeah. And I think that Afenejan should be drafted into an under-23, play with them, and then mature through that. I think his move to Cremonese also played a role in him being dropped, if it's true, because we were expecting him to get more minutes at Cremonese, lead their line, and maybe score 1 or 2 goals. But that hasn't been the case for Afenejan, leaving Roma to a lesser team like Cremonese, and still you are on the bench and also spend much time in the injury room, nursing an injury and all that. So all those things played a role in him being dropped in the squad. But I mean, all is not lost. He's just 19 years and he has a lot of years ahead of him. And if you talk about Jeffrey Schlupp, I think sometimes I was expecting Jeffrey Schlupp. I was looking forward to getting Jeffrey Schlupp. My ideal midfield for the World Cup was Thomas Partey, Jeffrey Schlupp, and then maybe Kudus Mohammed, because Jeffrey Schlupp can do is a box-to-box midfielder that can cover a lot of grounds. So if you have such a player with Partey sitting in the lone DM, having Kudus Mohammed doing his thing in the offensive areas, then it means Black Stars are covered in the midfield area. But that is not the case. Jeffrey Schlupp is not going. But I think sometimes stats, it's difficult to justify with stats, because somebody like Richarlison, he scored 2 goals in the Premier League this season, and Firmino has about 6 goals for Liverpool. But Richarlison is going to the World Cup. Firmino has been dropped. So it tells you that Richarlison does something special. Yeah,
but you see the difference between that is Richarlison's numbers for Brazil is higher than that of...
I'm going to talk about. Okay. If Jeffrey Schlupp comes to the Black Stars, how many games has he played? How many games has he played? And what has been the performances for the Black Stars? He's yet to give us a wow performance in the Ghanaian colours. So if such a player is being overlooked, it's not too much of a problem. Although he's playing week in, week out, for me the only issue I have is Otuado's excuse. That is, he's not watched him play before. How do you say that? That's very lame. That's very lame for me, because he's been playing in the Premier League. So maybe you can say you have players you've worked with over time. That is why you've overlooked him. But to say you've not watched him, that's very lame. So for me, you can't justify Jeffrey Schlupp's exclusion with stats, because there are players who have better stats, but when they come to the national team, they don't perform. If you take Switzerland, for instance, Jegdan Shaqiri doesn't perform at club level. But whenever he's in the Swiss national team colours, he's a standout player. So you can justify his exclusion that way. And I don't have too much of a problem that he is being dropped. And the other player, John Pinto.
Yeah. Is it Joseph Pinto?
Yeah, he's also doing well. And he impressed at the AFCON. All right.
He was our best forward.
If you compare the position he's vying for, on the right wing, we lack left-footed wingers.
No, he's a left winger.
But he can play on the right side.
But his position in the AFCON and then for Genk is a left winger.
Naturally, he is a winger. Yeah. At Ferencvaros, he played as right winger sometimes. Yeah. And even at Genk, he sometimes played at right wing.
On the left.
Most on the left. Yeah. But I'm saying that if you look at the right wing, we lacked left-footed wingers. Now we have Kamasowa. We have Fatawu Isahaku. Because of transition, you have to keep him in there. Now to the left wing, you have Kamal Adin.
He's better than him.
Who is better than
Joseph Pinto? has been better in the Black Stars than Sulemana.
How many games has he played?
Sulemana has played more games in the Black Stars than Joseph Pinto.
Yeah,
but in the AFCON,
for me,
in the AFCON, Sulemana was starting games. Was starting games for us. In the Brazil game, it was terrible.
Look, I'm saying that if you take Kamaldeen Sulemana and Joseph Pinto, per the coaches, per Otoado, he likes Kamaldeen Sulemana and then Jordan Ayew as the right wing, as his right wing options.
Okay.
So in that instance, definitely Joseph Pinto will come maybe the third on the pecking order.
Yeah, but we are not taking only one winger for each position.
We are taking the wingers option. I've given you 2 on the left wings and then 2 on the right wing.
So the right wing, Fatawu Isahaku. And then who?
And then Kamal Soa. They are naturally left-footed players who can play on the right wing.
Okay.
So on the left wing, Otoado has his options in Jordan Ayew and then Kamaldeen Sulemana. So definitely Joseph Pinto falls on
but I'm saying that at club level, Kamaldeen is not better than Joseph Pinto. He's not fit than Joseph Pinto.
At club level, it's not like he's not scoring.
No, like before I move to Romeo, what I want to understand is that at the club level, we know that Sulemana in his first season for Rennes was explosive.
Yeah.
But in the ongoing season, Joseph Pinto, he's more fit than Kamaldeen, both physically and then game time. He's more fit both game time and then effective than Fatawu Isahaku.
Yeah,
and then
I agree.
And then he's more effective than
on
Jordan Ayew with
score,
both. All our wingers.
It's not like I'm
takes all the box.
Otoado's decision. It's not like I'm defending Otoado's decision. What I'm trying to say is that politics in team player selection in national team.
So you are saying that he won't make the cut because of politics.
That is what I was trying to say. That yes, he has the stats and he's better than Kamaldeen Sulemana, he's better than Fatawu Isahaku and all that. But we have to understand that politics in team selection, in national team selection, it happens everywhere. And I talked about Firmino. Now yesterday France released their squad.
Yeah.
Firmino was not included. Now tell me who is the best left back for France in Europe apart from Firmino?
You can make a case for Lucas and Theo.
Maybe Theo, but Lucas is not better than Firmino at this moment. So we have to understand that sometimes coaches also have their preferences.
Okay.
And we have to appreciate that.
Yeah, but you see the difference between Didier Deschamps' preference is that his preference won him the World Cup.
So but the World Cup hasn't started yet.
But I'm saying that the difference between them is that with his preference, he wins games.
This is Otoado's first World Cup, right?
Okay.
This is his first World Cup. So if he has omitted Joseph Pinto, let them go. Let us see the results. Then we can better criticize.
It will be too late for us then. But Romeo, let me bring you in and Joseph Pinto, quick one before we go for a break, and then we touch on the other players. Pinto, if you look through our AFCON, the 3 most standout players in Ghana's embarrassing AFCON campaign was Kofi Tre, Jiku, and then Joseph Pinto.
Yeah.
Every opportunity that we've given him, he has shown that he's...
It's not every opportunity, please.
No,
do you remember he played against Central African Republic?
Central African Republic.
No, that game he was terrible.
But the whole team.
The whole team was terrible.
No, it wasn't the whole team. Osman Lukai was a standout performer in that game.
On a more serious note, if you're picking games in which players were terrible, then the Ayew brothers should not even see our jerseys.
So we shouldn't make a case like he impresses anytime he plays.
I think Joe is not talking about perfection.
I'm not talking about perfection. I'm building a point that
even Ronaldo's, Messi's, they have bad games.
Yes,
but you look at the numerical advantage as the number of games he's played and the performances over the years. So
my point, Romeo, is there because I want to add this to it.
Okay.
The World Cup we are going, it's happening at a time that your informed players will be an advantage to you. 13 games, 6 goals, 7 assists. And he has goals more than every attacker in our team.
You see, the fact of the issue is, most, even in England, they're looking at informed players.
Yeah.
But some are pardoned because of tournament appearances and experience, so that they are not caught ball watching. However, those in current form and are red hot,
all of them will go.
Have been given the nod. Yeah. So you look at putting your best foot forward. What do you call Schlop? And then what do we call it?
Afene?
No,
Joseph Pinto.
Joseph Pinto. If you asked me to pick players, I was going to pick what do we call it? Daniel Kofichre.
Yeah.
Kofichre.
Yeah.
As my number 1 midfielder alongside Partey.
Yeah.
And then when I'm looking at any other options, I'll look for
Schlop
and
Joseph Pinto.
Okay. But I was shocked to see Schlop not making the numbers, and then Pinto not also making the squad. My reasons are simple. People were saying, okay, he's not seeing Schlop play in the Black Stars. We're here when we're fighting for Inaki Williams. Yeah. Since he joined the Black Stars, let's be factual. He's not had any better game in our games. But we know he's a big player. Yeah. So the image representation will be good for the squad. And Schlop is also in the same light, like playing week in, week out, and he's in the form of his life. Schlop wasn't appearing previously for Black Star games because of the
certain things
in the previous administration. Yeah. Now you went in to talk to him, and then he was convinced that, oh, this new project is okay for me. So he surrendered and said, okay, he was going to come. Just like you did for our defender, what do we call it?
Mohamed Salisu.
Mohamed Salisu. So it's like supporting this in this regard, and then you're against this. It's not fair. So if you're justifying, you should juxtapose as to whether what you're looking for, come out clearly and say, okay, we like you, but this tournament, these are the kind of players we're looking for. But don't let it look like you don't watch him. Jordan Ayew plays in the same team with him. So it's no excuse. And then going further, sometimes I usually don't like criticizing squad selections because of the Aminu Dramani factor. Ghanaians, that guy suffered, but later he became the hero of the day. But then we are very cautious also not to always allow people to play on our emotions or intelligence. When you tell us that you're going to consider informed players or players playing in higher leagues, it's the reason why most local players are not getting the chance to play, right?
The coach said he's done with 70% of his squad. He didn't say he's going with informed players.
Yeah, he said 70%.
And the 70% were the September collapse. Yeah. So definitely the room or the spots left
was 30%.
You see, all these things are just caveats to escape that kind of display of the display of incompetence, because you don't tell me you called 55 players only to pick 26. If you are a pro and you're a better coach, right from the word go, you know the players who are making your selection. So the highest number you could have picked, or maybe 30 or 32 or something. But 55?
Or you can pick 26 and put some on standby.
Exactly. No, but you don't tell me you've got...
The reason for the 55
even India, with the highest population.
No. With the 55,
we understand the 55, but I also understand Romeo's point that you could have avoided all this noise.
Exactly.
You call your 26, you put 5
but you don't give people glimmers of hope.
No.
You see,
it's the World Cup is being played in the middle of a season.
Yes.
And you don't know what can happen between now and then 20th November.
Yes, agreed.
So if you announce 55 players, you've widened the scope. for any unfortunate event, you can go back to the 55 and then replace the an injured player. Now, Baba Idrisu picked up an injury yesterday. Yeah. So supposedly he wouldn't be fit, and then he has to be dropped. Yeah. You have 55 players. Look through the players and then replace him. So for me, I don't have issue with the 55 players.
But the point is that Brazil named 26. They put 10 on standby. So anybody who didn't make the final 26, they've submitted the other names to FIFA.
Exactly, and
so you'll be there and they call you to come and fill in.
That's Brazil.
Yeah, but
that's the standard.
It avoids noise.
That's not the norm. We shouldn't make it look like it's the norm. It's not the norm.
Then they could have called
Uruguay named 55 players.
They could have ended up.
That one too a mistake.
They are not going to do anything bad.
What are you saying?
Oh,
it's not the norm to announce. Yesterday, France, they announced 25 players instead of 26. Yeah. Dropping Felamendi and then Jonathan Klaus.
Some people are on standby.
It's like every country has their own its own style of player selection and all that. You can't compare Brazil to Ghana.
You learn from the best.
Yes, you learn from the best, but you consider your quality too.
Ima should understand
that. Okay, so
you must understand that if you are an industry and maybe you're picking about 5 or 2 people for a position in your company, and you know that out of 500 you could get those people, you don't call 15,000 people. Yeah. You waste time, you waste space, you give people false hope. You get it? Yeah. You know the crust of your team, your squad, those you really wanted. Okay. But those who might, from the peripheral, break through in case of injuries, you should also put them on standby. But 55 is too much a number. Are you telling me the 26 could all be injured and then the next squad could just move in? It's not possible. So what I'm trying to say is that, for instance, when you put players on standby, you put maybe 3 defenders on standby, maybe 2 attackers, 2 midfielders. Yeah. So let's say you're making 10 numbers. Yeah. So you could call 36 people. And then you train with them. You train with them as you trim the squad. Even after you've announced your 26 squad, they train with them so that in case of any eventualities, you know that this guy, what you taught them or your team play, they are already aware. So when this one leaves, this one steps in. But 55, how are you going to work with all the 55?
For me, I think...
And even with that, after calling the 55, after announcing 55, after naming 55, people, others did not even kick a ball. And they've been dropped.
I feel like 55.
So what sense does it make?
I'm coming.
Yeah, it makes sense for me.
Okay, I'm coming. I'll go for a quick break. When I come back, then we'll continue the discussion. I have a question for Ima. Then we'll go to the expectations, what Ghanaians should expect from the Black Stars in the World Cup. Welcome back from the break. This is GhanaWeb Mundial. Before we went for the break, Romeo was saying that the 55-man provisional squad was a mistake from the get-go. Ima, let me ask you this question. How would the Brazil camp, how would it have been if Firmino was in camp and then he was told that he would not make the squad?
But the 55 players, they were not...
No, I'm saying that. And how will it have been if Brazil had named 55 and then Roberto Firmino does not make the final squad?
It will still be the same thing.
No, it wouldn't be the same.
It will still be the same thing. The same argument.
No, but
the same argument will pop up for me.
But the atmosphere would have been different.
It wouldn't have been different. It will be the same thing. For me, I think that with the 55 players and some names in there, it's some kind of encouragement for them. A player like Imoro Ibrahim, he was in the squad. Mudassiru Salifu, Patrick Pozo. It gives you the impression that, yes, I'm doing something and somebody is somewhere watching. And with the form I'm in, I'm being rewarded. Now, he's been put in the history that in 2022 FIFA World Cup, he appeared in a provisional man squad.
So all this value is the fact that they are trying to give a call-up appearances on record for some agency players.
No.
That is a statement of fact. See, how would you call players? And when they've not even kicked a ball, they've been dropped. What's the essence of calling them?
It happens.
Yeah, but then that's what I want to ask. That
it happens.
If you know that these are the players you'll be going with, why
waste the time?
I'm coming. Why don't you say that? These are my 26-man squad for the World Cup, but these are the players on standby.
See, FIFA gave
the
Black Stars every national team
that
you
55.
can name between 35 to 55.
And I'm saying that.
Provisional mandate.
And I'm saying that. In your list to FIFA, Romeo, I want you to come here. Couldn't it have been better if in our list to FIFA and our announcement, we say that these are the 26-man squad that, all things being equal, if nothing happens, these people are going to the World Cup. And then these people
Joe,
are on standby.
Joe, you know very well that me and you and I, we don't know what Otuado told other players when they were called. Because if you check the names popping up that they've been dropped, it means that for some players, Otuado probably already spoke to them that yes, you are being part of the of the 55-man squad, but you are not going to be the players who might be on a standby.
It doesn't look like Schlop was part of those people.
For players like Imoro, no one is talking about them. Players like Patrick Pozo, players like Dennis Kosa, we are not talking about them because maybe they know their stand already, that they are doing very well and they are being appreciated with the national call-up because the coaches are watching. So we have certain players.
You see, right from the word go, let's be sincere. You see, we are trying to massage issues here. Even when we're going to play a weak side friendly, Nicaragua, I wasn't expecting regular starters in that game. I was expecting that people who have always been on the peripherals been given a start. So they play 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 25 minutes for fair assessment. You don't give, and then you give someone 3 minutes, 2 minutes, and then the next day you don't call the person. The likes of, see, Jordan and you have always been noted as a striker. But because he's not performing in front of goal, so they've tricked his position and given him another role. But you are telling me that Joseph Pencil, because he's a right winger, this is a versatile player who could also be tweaked around for strategic approach to any game, just as Jeffrey Schlop. But you are telling me that we are so conservative that even if the person is not good, because he is a top player, let's give him the chance. Roberto Firmino is a top player. He's been a top player for Brazil. But they are considering
he has not been really performing for Brazil, the Brazilian national team.
It's not the Firmino for Liverpool.
It's the same.
So the Jordan for Crystal Palace has been the Jordan of Black Star. Is that what you're saying?
No. For some time.
No, let's not pick and choose. Which is sometimes.
You can make a case that currently Jordan is not the Jordan.
It's about current issues, not the past. If it's about past, then the likes of Sule Mutari and Wakaso should always be in the jersey.
Position has
it shouldn't be about the past.
Even for Crystal Palace, he's not the lead striker.
Because he's not poaching. He's not poaching. He's not poaching.
At Crystal Palace, it's because the two players up front are scoring. But in our case, our strikers are not scoring. So how can you drop the winger who is
Crystal Palace to midfield? Enough options. They have Mateta, they have Edward, they have a lot of typical number 9s.
Oh, those people are scoring.
Jordan Ayew was a winger like Eden Hazard started, and through some time his game evolved to be a striker. Now.
And then for about 2 years, he wasn't scoring.
Patrick Vieira sees Jordan.
So if you could tweak a role for him, just to make him fit into a squad, why don't you do the same thing for others?
Patrick Vieira sees Jordan as a winger whose work rate is very good, that he can support the fullback on the wings and then give the team some balance on the wings. So Jordan Ayew is no more the goal poacher we know. Jordan Ayew is no more the leader of the line we knew.
A certain Pencil is not a striker. So, he also operates on the wings, but he's scoring.
And Jordan Ayew in that spot, for me, he is better in that area
than Joseph Pinto.
He gives us better performances for me.
I'm asking you, between a winger who scores, assists, and a winger you claim work rate, who will you pick?
It depends on the system.
No, and
it depends on the system.
Okay. So
if you are playing,
I'm coming.
Wait, if you are playing a 3-4-3 formation, you would need a winger who will score or create for the strikers. If you are playing a flat 4-4-2, you wouldn't depend too much on your winger for goals or assists.
Are you sure?
Yes.
You see,
if you are playing a flat 4-4,
if you check, if you access,
you see, Ima, I'm saying that. I ask you this because if you are playing a flat one and then your strikers are not scoring, your wingers are not scoring, how are you going to win games?
Even in Portugal.
Yes, in Portugal. I'm saying that. I'll come to Romeo. I'm saying that if your strikers are not scoring and your wingers too are not scoring, you are saying they are doing work rate.
It depends on
how
a
do
game.
you win games?
It depends on a game.
No.
Who knows? Maybe Jordan Ayew can pop up from. We went to the 2019 AFCON. Jordan Ayew scored goals.
He scored 1.
He scored 2.
No, he scored 1.
Yeah, he scored. Okay.
Yeah,
he scored
yeah. And I'm saying that.
But he scored. At the end of the day, he scored.
He scored 1 in the tournament. No, I'm coming.
At the end of the day, he was on the score sheet.
And at the end of the day, we exited from the round of 16.
We managed to go past the group stage.
Yes, in the 2019,
was that a better standard for a whole black star?
In the 2022 AFCON, he didn't score a goal. None of your strikers scored a goal. We exited from the group stage.
So why don't you blame the strikers instead?
No, yes, I'm saying that. If Jordan cannot compete with the strikers,
it's not like he can't compete with the strikers.
Yeah, but he can't. If he was better than the striker, you see there.
As it stands now, he can't compete with the strikers.
His game has evolved.
It has.
His game has evolved.
It has.
We have to. I don't know why we don't want to appreciate or we don't want to accept that.
No.
Jordan Ayew's game has evolved from a striker to a winger.
All right.
Right now, Jordan is a typical winger.
It's a winger.
And even for Crystal Palace, he sometimes play in much more deeper positions in midfield.
Okay.
So Jordan Ayew is not the goal poacher you rely on.
Okay.
He can be used in so many ways.
So if you have a winger who is...
Okay, so I'm coming. It seems Ima is not... he doesn't understand the problem we are facing as a Black Stars is that one of our biggest problem for Black Stars in 2022 is we can't score goals.
And
Crystal Palace, they score goals.
I would never blame the goal scoring of the players. For me, it's how we play. How we play and how we set up.
You blame
the Black Stars are not scoring because we are not creating. It's not like we are creating many chances.
Let me pick it up from where Yima drops it.
Okay.
You're talking of creativity and scoring.
Yeah.
You have a player who is capable of scoring and creating. You don't want that player.
Yeah.
Now, if you see, you have opponents in Portugal where myriads of their laterals and wingers are flying, right? And you need people with that energy to match them. And you can't tell me Joseph Pencil and Schlop will not be able to do that job for you.
And then
aside that,
you
have some speedsters in Inaki Williams.
Yeah.
With people like Joseph Pencil with good sharp crosses, speed pace to match up to be able to raise the tempo of the game depending on your opponent. And you're leaving that person home. Now, my challenge is that, you see, anytime he was talking about the game plan. Game plan is such that you use variety of players who can easily tweak your game at every point in time to give you the desired results. Now, you are just fixated on a certain Jordan and the DRU and let's say Kudus. Even for starters, if you watch a proper Ghanaian setup, if you want to have a proper squad without biases, a first 11, you should have Daniel Kofichre, Kudus Mohamed, and Thomas Partey in the heart of midfield.
Okay.
You get it? Yeah. Then you can look at the wings, and then you can look at attack. And when I look at the wings and attack, I don't see Jordan and Dede in the starting 11. But they are going to start because they're supposed on droppables. But you see, if you need results, you cut down on egos. You cut down on favoritism. You cut down on nepotism. You don't keep doing the same things over and over again and be expecting a different result. Yeah. We went to AFCON. We saw how abysmal our team was. But it was difficult for the coach to be bold enough to say, you're not good enough for this game.
Yeah, so
drop off.
Drop.
We kept the same line, and it had to take the intervention of the Daniel Kofi and other staff to prove to us that if given the chance, they could play better. Even when there is free kick, let's all be sincere. Jordan Ayew is not a better free kick taker than Daniel Kofi. But he would always be allowed to take it.
No, but you see, as for that, I've always blamed the coach.
So I'm building a point. So I'm telling you about the deficiency of a coach who doesn't have the technical eye to know what is good for the team. So it's not about the names. It's about the prowess of the players who would give you the desired result. If we have the players, it has to do with, you see, you can have the best of ingredients. But how you blend them is what will give you the taste that is best. So for me, it's just about coaches. And I'm sad because you, Otuado, being in within the Dortmund setup, you should know better in terms of putting up a squad to give you results. You should know about player transitions in terms of even because you've been nurturing these young academy guys who later drift into the main team. You should know about talent development. You should know about growth. You should believe in people coming up who would give you results. You should not be stuck and be so conservative with the idea that even when in a particular game you realize that Dede Ayew was hurt, like he wasn't the Dede Ayew we see in the game. It was so difficult for him to pull him out, and it doesn't show a proper attribute of a good coach. So for me, this World Cup is just like an excursion.
No. Wait, please.
All right, so it's clear that we are not on the same side with regards to Joseph Fento's exclusion. But I think that the World Cup will either vindicate you or prove Romeo's point that we made a mistake by leaving out our most effective
on paper.
Effective because
on paper.
It's not on paper.
It's not just on
paper. I'm coming. We did the Ghana-Morocco game. When Joseph Fento came in that game, who created more chances than him?
He didn't create more chances, but he made good runs. Yes, he
made better incursions.
He was the better. He was threatening. Yeah, he was the
danger
man up front. He didn't create chances. He had the chances. I remember he killed one shot.
He forced a save from Yashin Bunu.
He had the chances.
And I'm saying that.
It's not like he created the chances.
In our second game too, he performed.
He
against Gabon.
When he came on.
Yeah.
Yes, he performed.
Yeah. And then,
so which other justification do you want?
So I'm saying
why is
so can you give us the last 2 games or 3 games that you had consistency from Jordan? 3 games, yes, consistency with better games.
Jordan, are you against Japan?
Start from
against Japan. He was our best player.
Japan, when they wallowed us.
Yes, he scored. He scored. And even the game against Brazil, the first half that we were struggling. For me, I think Jordan did well because in games where you that is where you don't understand. That is where you don't. That is where you have to understand. See, when you are playing teams like Portugal, Brazil, you are not going to have much of the ball. That is when you need Jordan.
Yeah, and it was poor selection from your coach right from the word go. It was poor selection.
I mean, just the last episode I was complaining about.
See, Joe, analyze the second half selection.
Big issue with Otuado. I will address that one someday. But for me, we have to know how to use Jordan. If you are playing against Comoros, you need players who will run at the defenders, who will push the ball forward and try to create something. But if you are playing teams like Brazil, you need somebody like Jordan who can hold up play up front, draw his teammates.
So enough about Pencil and all that. And as I stated earlier on, the World Cup will either vindicate Ima or prove Romeo's point. And I'm hoping that we will get to the 2 of them for our first game against Portugal on the 24th of November. That's Thursday.
Jordan, are you scoring?
Yes, I'm hoping that I'll get the 2 of you on commentary duty. Then we'll try and put it together. But let's go to expectations. Romeo, looking at the players, you've been hearing that they've been dropped and all that. is our target of semi-final achievable?
Like I said earlier, it's just a train of excursion we're embarking on, and I'm just. You see, let's even pray we progress beyond the group stages, because you are meeting. You are in a group where there are no minnows. You are now the underdog, because in those days, Korea shouldn't have an edge over Black Stars, but because of our non-seriousness, our non-performance, our biases, our favoritism and nepotistic instincts and displays, it makes it difficult to be realistic, to be biased in terms of reality, in terms of Ghanaians' performance in the World Cup or anticipated results. Okay. But then again, there's also another history when it has to do with the issue of football. Yeah. When you least expect a team to perform, there is this adrenaline that comes to the party sometimes to muddy the waters. Let's hope. So this is the underlying word. Hope.
A conditional statement.
Exactly. Let's hope that...
Why are you stressing on the hope?
Yes, because we can... Inshallah. Like 1% chance, 99% fit. So you get it. Meanwhile, if you do your things right, you're supposed to be in the high echelons of clubs or national teams to be looked out for. But no one is considering the Black Stars.
But I have this question. That if you look at the Portugal team, and then maybe we set up in a 3-4-3 system. So maybe we have Richard Ofori. If we are setting up in a 3-4-3 system, we need a goalkeeper who can, a sweeper. So we Walcott, and then we have Jiku, Amate, and then Salisu, Lamte. Because I know that if there is one player who can really handle what's
the threat of Ronaldo?
No,
Bruno
Rafael
Leao.
If there is one player, I think
Rafael Leao is not even a starter.
No, I'm saying that if there is one player that can handle Rafael Leao, if they decide to use the wings, I think that Lamte can do the job. We have Gideon Mensah, and we get.
Do you think Gideon Mensah will start over Barbara?
No, Gege, he will start ahead of Barbara.
Do you think Barbara? Man,
no, I'm saying that I'm making it.
He's even playing chess with his mind. You know that there are better options, but others are stacked with.
Yeah.
So once they are stuck with, whether there's a better option or not, the better option will not start.
Yeah. So that's what he's trying to say. So I'm saying that. So and then in the midfield we get Partey to do the sitting. Kudus will do the box to box for us, and then the 3-man up front. We get what's this guy's name?
Kovic.
We get Inaki, and then
Jordan in attack.
Yes. Can't we match this Portugal team?
You see, beating Portugal wouldn't have been too Herculean a task for the Black Stars, but for our lack of reality in terms of player selections. If I were a coach, a player like in the heart of midfield, I'm going to dwell on Partey, I'm going to dwell on Daniel Kofi, who would be at the tip of the midfield, because Kudus will be operating with Partey in the heart of midfield. And if for anything, the two of them could be switched. Kudus could be found in the number 10 position, then Kofi would be behind. Deep. So you have a solid midfield. Now you need a lateral to be able to send in swingers for players to latch on. Okay, Jordan is good with his aerial ability. So if you have a good crosser of the ball, then you'll be able to latch on it. Now, when you're looking at the center forward, you know, Inaki Williams likes to operate from the wings. Yeah. So if you station him in the central row, he might find it difficult to operate. So he would have to be coming from the wings. It means that if he's on the right wing, Tariq Lamptey and Inaki Williams. And if you're playing the midfield 3, it means someone would have to go this way to support Inaki Williams, because when the opponents are on attack, it means Inaki Williams would have to cut in to expect a run on the ball. So these are all strategies we need to consider. We have pacey players and we have creative players. But if we're going to draw so much on rigidity, then we are always going to be ball chasing. Because these Portuguese are going to be passing around Bernardo Silva, Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah.
They are going to send in crosses to Ronaldo. You need people to be able to tame or to block those aerial prowess. So you wouldn't have an element or a moment in the game where Jordan Ayew will be walking instead of tracking back to stop a player. Or Didi Ayew, because he's tired, instead of tracking back, it should be an all-attacking, all-defending kind of game. And then you can also try to beat Portugal on the counter because they like to go all out.
Yeah.
So if you're smart enough, you soak the pressure,
And
just
then,
like a Mourinho strategy.
And then you break them.
And then you break them.
So I still sticking with the 1% chance, 99% faith. Then I move to Ima.
Yeah, if we go by standards, like for instance, maybe in the first 20 minutes, you try to put in your favorites, Jordan and Dede, and you realize they're not performing, and you have the balls to resort them, you can have results. You're telling people that you won't wait, you don't have time to waste. Yeah. So once it's not going well, you need to tweak before it gets bad. And we don't want to see that kind of attitude where a coach will come and tell us, okay, I was just trying to use some weak players so that when they are tired, I throw in my best players. It repeated itself against Brazil. It repeated itself.
He said
by then, we were already good. Something that had happened before. You get it? Yeah. And it's laughable to see a coach of his caliber at that level telling us, but it's good that he admits the mistake. But let's see if there wouldn't be any repetition of such mistake on the highest platform of football.
In Qatar.
Exactly.
Ima, Romeo is saying that 99% inshallah and 1% ability.
I think target is semi-finals.
Semi-finals.
Yeah, it's fair because we've been to the quarterfinals before.
Yeah.
So it's fair to look beyond the quarterfinals. So on paper, it's look fair, but in reality, I think our target should be the quarterfinals. If we are being real, our target should be the quarterfinals. And if we are going to be able to achieve that, one, it will depend on the quality we will take to the World Cup. Two, it will depend on the coach. And then three, it's confidence for me. Now, the one quality, I'm talking about quality because it will all center on the players Otuado will name as his final list. Now, if we name a final 26-man squad where we have so much quality and we are having these Jeffrey Schloss in there, because for now it's just rumor. Let's treat it as rumors. Yeah. So we have the Jeffrey Schloss in there. We have so much quality that for me, I think that we can match teams like South Korea and then Uruguay. Even if we can't go toe-to-toe with Portugal, with such quality, we can get something out of the game. Yeah. Now, second will be the coach. Otuado has been saying he doesn't know his players, he's trying to figure out and all that. I'm expecting that with the World Cup, he is going into the tournament prepared. He has managed this team from March. And with some of the players, they've been consistent with him throughout the time. So he has to know who and who will start, who the roles he will give to the players and all that. If he's able to do those things right, for me, I think we will impress. And he has to settle on his system, because with the friendlies we played in September, he tried a 3-back, he tried a 4-back, he was trying a front 3, and sometimes he switched to a front 2. He has to settle on one system for the World Cup. For me, I'm not expecting Andre Ayew to start in games. If I have my way, Andre Ayew shouldn't be a starter.
Super sub.
He should be a sub, because at the World Cup, it's serious business. You need players with energy that can work from minutes 1 to the final minutes. So with that kind of, approach, Andre Ayew shouldn't be a starter in our team. And if we don't have Andre Ayew, it means it will release Thomas Partey, because I feel like anytime Thomas Partey plays with Andre Ayew, he doesn't give us the best of his games. Because if you look at the Nigeria game, Andre Ayew wasn't present. Thomas Partey was superb. in the two legs. Yeah. So I think if we go with that, with Otuado being settled on his players, being settled on the system he wants to play, giving the players right roles, I mean, we are going to go far. And then the last one, which I talked about, was confidence. The confidence will come from the first game. If you are able to frustrate the Portuguese enough, grab a point.
At least.
That is where our engine will start. The players will go into the second game against South Korea with so much confidence that they can beat the Koreans. So I think if we get these three things right, I think here we are going to go far.
Okay, you heard Emmanuel Enin, my colleague here at GhanaWeb. He said coaching, quality of players, and then confidence. Romeo also made point about we getting the right players, the right system, but you know, he believes that it is going to be 1% ability and then 99% chance for the Black Stars in Qatar.
Ghana will make it to the final. I just have a feeling.
You said?
I have a feeling Ghana will make it to the final.
All right, so you heard Emmanuel Enin, my colleague here at GhanaWeb, also ending his conversation that Ghana will make it to the final. Let's see. Romeo, Ambassador Romeo, very big man. He joined us on this episode. You'll be seeing him more often. Today, we discuss the list of players who have been reportedly dropped from the squad and then what Ghanaians should expect of the Black Stars in the 2022 FIFA World Cup. My name is Joel Ishen, Richard Van der Poy, videographer on the day, Kwame Adom. Thank you very much for putting this production together. Until we meet again, trust the process.